Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Abeer's Book Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing this book, The Coddling of the American Mind by Greg Lukianoff and Johnathan Haidt. How good intentions and bad ideas are setting up a generation for failure. So that is a pretty hefty tagline to put on a book, and I think that the authors have done a wonderful job justifying this tagline. The book talks about the main word here is coddling. The coddling of the American mind, which means the overprotection of the American mind, especially in the younger generation, which is Gen Z. So the book talks about how society has changed to sort of protect the younger generation from all of the possible dangers of the world, and how this overprotection and coddling of the younger generation and younger minds is sort of leading to a paradigm shift in the American society where it is actually on a decline. So the book talks about how there's a quote in the book which says, "Don't prepare the road for your children. Prepare the children for the road." So the book argues that the way the children are being raised nowadays is actually severely detrimental to society, especially when they mature and when they go to college and universities. And the book is basically giving you a lot of examples across universities of how overprotection and coddling have led to extreme cases of violence and disgruntled students, causing great harm to society and property and life. One of the earliest examples is from, I believe it was a riot in 2016 at UC Berkeley, and how that riot specifically caused an uprising across the U.S. and how professors reacted to it, and how the students sort of caused a lot of harm to their city, their town, their university. And the book ultimately draws a conclusion in every single chapter, which says that coddling of the mind is not great. Overprotection leads to extremism because children who are overprotected just sort of view the world in binary. It's either I'm completely right or the other side is completely right. And when someone comes along who challenges their particular viewpoint or their belief system, they feel that they are attacked. And this is again talked about a lot in this book, which is how children say that they feel attacked or that they feel uncomfortable when someone challenges their viewpoints, which is absolutely not the way to go about in a democracy, especially a democracy like the USA. People can speak whatever they want. They can challenge your viewpoints. You can challenge their viewpoints. But when you think of them, when they challenge your viewpoints as harming you physically or emotionally, that's when society falls, basically. And there are three overarching themes in this book, the three great untruths, as the authors call them, and how these three untruths are present in every single example of college riots and violence, and how if we work towards getting rid of these three untruths or sort of removing them from the minds of the newer generations, we can restore society. So the great untruths are the untruth of emotional reasoning, the untruth of fragility, and the untruth of us versus them. So us versus them is basically thinking in binary terms, purely evil or purely righteous. Again, that's not true. Emotional reasoning says always trust your emotions, which again, we have seen a lot of examples, not only in the news, but also which are chronicled in the book, which says that if you just go purely based off of your feelings, you are going to end up doing more harm than good, because a lot of the times your feelings are not true. They are not the absolute truth, and that you need to look beyond your feelings, and you need to approach things from multiple viewpoints in order to have a functioning society, in order to have people who don't erupt into violence whenever someone questions their viewpoints or their beliefs. And the last untruth, which is the untruth of fragility, it says that what doesn't kill you makes you weaker, whereas the opposite is actually true. Which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So the authors draw a conclusion at the end of each chapter where they show how these three untruths sort of contributed to this particular case of riot and violence and uprising, and how professors are fired because of one single line in an email which does not align with one specific student's viewpoints, and how they riot, and how there is a lot of violence going on in the American universities. And it's not only the tier B colleges, it is even the elite prestigious institutes such as Brown and some other Ivy Leagues, and as I mentioned, UC Berkeley have seen these uprisings and riots, and it is all because of overprotection. And it's not necessarily a partisan issue. The authors give examples from both the left wing and the right wing, how, if you are extremely liberal or extremely conservative, they are both equally as damaging to you and society. So the book basically says, in summary, you need to keep an open mind, and that you need to sort of view things from all the perspectives and not jump to conclusions straight away, and that the modern generation of parents need to raise the newer generation in a way that they really understand these two things. Because right now, the Gen Z, which is people born after 1991, they are the most coddled generation of all. And all of these examples of riots and uprisings and, extremely fragile people and children occurred after 2013, which was when the oldest members of Gen Z started going to college or universities. So yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic book, extremely well written. It has a lot of examples. It sort of makes its point very clear in what the authors are trying to say and what they are trying to convince us of. And I think that everyone should read this book. This is a book which, anyone above the age of 12, 13 can really dig into and find interesting, because it gives you a new viewpoint of thinking about things. It really opens up your mind if you read it. That's basically it about the book. Absolutely amazing book. The authors have done a great job of justifying each and every point by not only using case studies, research papers, personal examples. It is an amazing book. Everyone should read this book right now, because it talks about how society is in decline and what we can do about it and how we can fix it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.